Now that I have published my courses, I'm ready to start adding content to each of those courses. To do that, I'm going to select one of my courses, in this case, Language Arts. And then I will select Manage Subject. In each course, there's a number of areas that you will use on a regular basis, and others you'll use as you get more advanced in your Canvas usage. We're going to go ahead and begin with assignments. This is where you record all of your assignments. And you will see here that there is a category already set up, or what Canvas calls a group, called Assignments. Over on the right, I could edit this and rename this. I might want to leave it as Assignments, or I might like to say Homework. This is considered a gradebook category for weighting, so I can also add a group. I can say Quizzes. And I'm going to go ahead and just add in Tests. And I'm going to add in Projects. Now, you can choose what you want to add in here. These are just examples. You will want to do this based on your particular course and the requirements that you are setting up for your particular course. Now I'm going to come to the three dots here, and I'm going to set assignment group weights. So right now, if I don't set assignment group weights, all the assignments, and no matter what group they're in, will have the same weight based on the number of points that are in there. Here I can set final assignment weights, and I can say, all right, I want homework to be 30% of the grade, I want quizzes to be 10% of the grade, and tests to be 30% of the grade, and then projects to be another 30% of the grade. Then it comes out to 100%. You can choose any percentages you choose. For each one of these, what's really important is you have to have this finalized before the end of the first quarter, because after the end of the first quarter, these weights are locked in for the rest of the year and you cannot change them. I'm going to go ahead and hit Save, and now you can see what the percentages are of each one of these weights. Now let's go ahead and create an assignment. I'm going to click on the plus assignment here, and this is going to bring up the assignment information. So here I'm going to give the assignment a name. Here you can give details. You can put as much information here as you like. All of this has text editing capabilities, so you can put a lot of different information in here and color it, add graphics, whatever you need to do to describe to your students exactly what the requirements are for that particular assignment. Now I'm going to go ahead and put in the number of points. So I'm going to say this is worth 100 points. The assignment group is Homework. That's the one that I selected the plus beside, although I could switch this here to one of the other groups, and then it would be placed in there. I'm going to go ahead and leave this as Points, but you have a couple of other options available to you, but Points is the most common one. So the next thing we're going to look at is the submission type. One possible type is no submission. This could be for an in-class activity where the students didn't have anything to submit, but we were giving them credit for it. Another option is an on-paper assignment where they are actually turning in a physical paper. Maybe it's a project where they're turning in a poster or some kind of project board, and it's something they are physically turning in, and it lets them know that yes, there is something they need to turn in for this, but it is not electronically. There are external tools, but what I'm going to focus on here for the time being is online. So this means that they are going to submit something online. One option they have available to them is the text entry. This means this is just a blank they type in. Maybe it's a short answer you want them to do, or a paragraph, and it's very simple. You just want to type in what they have. The other one we're going to look at is file uploads. This is very common. This is what you would use if they did a Word document or a PowerPoint or some type of document that they would upload to you. There is another option which is called media recordings. This is where they could record a short video or audio clip and upload it to you. Now you could have more than one, so you could do a file upload or you could do a website URL, either way, and that would work for you. The next option you have is how many attempts can they have. The default is unlimited, which means they could submit it and then they can submit it again and they can submit it again as many times as they want. That's often what you have, is just leave it as unlimited. There's other options that you have available to you that are a little more advanced for group assignments and peer reviews. We won't cover them right now. The assign area is very important. First of all, the assign to. Canvas has the ability to assign it to everybody in the class. I could also assign it to this section. If I had more than one section, I could assign it to a single section, or I could assign it to a particular student. Now, it is important to notice that if you are using the gradebook passback feature to fax SIS that we have functioning for some schools, that you cannot differentiate here. This is a great differentiation tool, but if you are using the Canvas gradebook passback, then you cannot differentiate here. If you have questions about that, please talk to your administrators, principals, and we can have a discussion with them about whether or not you want to be using the gradebook passback. But if you're using gradebook passback, you can do it to everybody or to just a section. In this case, that's what the language arts here is, the section. There's only one section for this course. What's great about individual ones is if I did this differentiated this way, Bob would know that he had an assignment. Nobody else would know that unless he chose to let them know. So for right now, I'm going to leave this for everybody. It is vital that you enter a due date. This is very, very important for that every single assignment has a due date. This lets Canvas know which grading period this assignment needs to be pasted in. If you don't put a due date, then it all shows up in fourth quarter. It kind of defaults to fourth quarter, and so you'll have grades showing up at the end of the year that you don't know where they came from. So it's very important that each one of these you put in a due date. And please note the time on here. It defaults to 11:59 p.m. I would recommend changing this to something like 8 p.m. so that you don't have parents assuming that you are expecting kids to stay up till midnight to do their homework, even though that's not the expectation. The next two blanks are available from and until. The available from can be useful if you have a longer term project that could be over a couple weeks and you don't want kids getting ahead of time and just turning it in the next day after it's assigned, but you want to be able to give out all the information for the project, the description, make sure they have access to all of that information, but then they're not able to turn it in until maybe a day or two before it's actually due. The until date will be that after that date they can no longer turn in the assignment. So if you were to make the until date the same as the due date, that means students would not be able to turn in a late assignment. Generally, teachers leave this blank, and it will let you know that it's late, and then you can choose what to do with a late assignment there. And once this is done, notice at the bottom you have a couple options. You can cancel to throw away everything you've done. You can save and publish, or you can save it. Remember that an assignment is not visible to students unless it is published. So if I save and publish it right now, that means it's available right now. Maybe I'm creating this assignment and later on I want to turn it on, but I'm not ready for them to see it yet. In which case, I can create this assignment, and then I can come later to the assignment and I can publish that assignment. All right, so that assignment is there. Where does this show up for the students? Well, let's take a look at the student view. So here I see the student view of this particular assignment. I'm actually going to come to subjects here and select language arts so that I can see it. And if I come to schedule and I scroll down in the schedule, and I'm going to go ahead and go to the next week, you can see here is my language arts assignment for that particular day. And if they are on the homeroom, it will show this on their homeroom schedule as well. Now, you may want this to be in a more prominent place, and this is where modules come in. Modules let you create an environment of a set of activities, including assignments for students to do. I'm going to go ahead and leave the student view and come back to here where I can now build my modules. As you build your course, you will want to build modules. Think of modules as units or weeks of study. So when we look at the module section, we can come over here and we can create a new module. This could be a unit name, or it could be just week 1. Either one will work. It's however you want to structure your course. I'm going to go ahead and add a module, and this drops this module in. Now, one of the things we'll note right off is this module here is not published, and I would need to publish the module for the students to see it. Everything in Canvas is not published until you publish it. Now, under this module, I can click on plus here. Now I can add items into this module. There's a number of different things I can add in. I can add in an assignment. Here you can see the assignment that I just created. I'm going to go ahead and drop this in for right now. I'm going to go ahead and add the item in, and here you can see it's in week 1. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on this plus again to add another item. And this time I'm going to pull this down, and you can see I can add a quiz. I can add in files, pages, discussions, a text header, which is just kind of like a section header for it, or I can do an external URL. I'm going to go ahead and do an external URL, and I'm going to paste in a YouTube URL. And it's going to ask me for a page name, and for this page name I'm going to call this Writing an Outline, and that's what the YouTube video is about. I can choose to load it in a new tab so it doesn't take me away from the current one, and I can choose whether I want to indent it or not. I'll just go ahead and indent it to level 1 so you can see what that looks like. So here you can see this particular one is indented. And as I look at this, I realize that I don't want to indent that. I actually want to decrease the indent. And I want to bring this up so I can grab this right here, and this really needs to come up above it. Now, notice that this Writing an Outline is not published, and the Language Arts homework is published. However, because the full module is not published, they won't be able to see any of this. So make sure that you publish the module. And when I publish the module, it will publish everything in that module. Now if I switch to the student view and go to modules, you can see here is the Writing an Outline. For the students, they can click on it, and it will open up the YouTube in a separate window. We recommend, though, that you not use YouTube, but use SchoolTube so that it can be filtered properly and you can allow students to view it. Then I can go back to my subject and continue working on it. So think of modules as units of study, not just an assignment, but all the other things that you can place around an assignment. So let me give you an example of another item I can add in. So if I click plus here, I can actually create a page. And in this particular case, I'm going to create a page here. So it's going to be a brand new one right here. I'm going to call this About Outlines, and I'm going to add this item in here. And now if I come and select this, it will take me to it, and I can edit this page. And basically this is a web page that I can put in here, and I can put all kinds of information. I can write out what I want them to know, any resources. I just can put a lot of information on here to give them content. And again, I have full graphics editing here for my web page as I build it. And then I can save and publish that. So that's a group of information that I have actually written. It's information I've written here. If you have information you just want to give them, it's better to create a page than it is to upload a Word document with that information. Now what's cool is there is now an Immersive Reader in here. So if I click on this as a student, they can now read this.
About Outline. Information.
So if you have students with reading difficulties, they can actually read what you put in here.